Japanese people of Reddit, what Western foods seem disgusting and or weird to you? The shittens of icing they put on American cupcakes. And oh god, the Costco cakes. Usually I can only take one courtesy slice at a birthday party and then I start getting a little sick. All the icing kills my appetite. American cakes, baked goods. There is a ton of more sugar in these than they are in Japan. It's nauseating and it hurts my tongue. Double quote. My Japanese friend. Japanese here. What I want to insist here is that most of us also think them, eel soda etc. Weird, and no one has such odd foods in their daily life. The foods are kinds of humor of the manufacturer. And I think. Full stop. Full stop. Escargots are weird but I would love to try it. Foreigners are confused. Horrified by food most Americans over the age of 12 already think is nasty. Chinese here. I love stinky tofu but can't stand the smell and taste of blue cheese. For Westerners it's probably the other way, haha. Aerosol cheese. Seriously, WTF. To be honest, I'm actually from the UK, but what is up with that shit? Kool-Aid. It's just sugar and red. Or purple. Kool-Aid is indefensible. Honestly. It really is just sugar and purple. My Japanese ex was disgusted when I drank milk. She would say, "Why would you drink the blood of another mammal?" Then she would go into the toxicity level of current milk production in the US. Salt and vinegar chips. My brother spent some time in Japan and one of the things he missed a lot while he was there was salt and vinegar chips. So we sent him some. He tried to share them with folks there in Japan and they thought they were the most disgusting thing ever. He ate the entire bag in one sitting. Are there actually any replies from Japanese people in this thread? The ones that freak out my Japanese friends the most are things like black pudding or haggis, specifically when talking from a UK perspective. I think all the answers like aerosol cheese will be said by any sane person. Japanese or not, lol. Edit. 2. I just remembered another good one. Rice pudding. For some reason the idea of adding milk and sugar to rice seems borderline sacrilegious to most Japanese people. Actually the taste is fine. But I think the concept of bastardizing such a staple food is very weird in Japan. Korean. I thought cottage cheese looked absolutely disgusting the first time I saw it. 12 years later. I still don't eat it. I'm not Japanese but I had breakfast with a Japanese friend a couple days ago. She ordered a fry up and it came with black pudding. She took a bite and asked me what it was. I had to tell her. Frosting on cake. More like what frosting is this bullshit? My husband said icing on cakes. Oatmeal. Blue cheese. And the university dining hall where he attended. He lived in a university dorm in the south for a while. He loves stuffing. Mac and cheese. Smoked turkey legs. And deep fried Oreos. Living in Japan now and we celebrate Thanksgiving just so he can have his fill of turkey and stuffing. Turkey is quite expensive here and stuffing doesn't exist anywhere where we live. I have to ask my family to send some. He also likes root beer. Hey. I'm Japanese. And me and my family think it's pretty weird to spray soy sauce on rice. Japanese here. The colorful cereals like Fruit Loops. Thing looks too artificial for a cereal. The colors should be more subtle. And Twizzlers. They have one of the worst aftertaste. My friend gave me a European version of it, from Spain or Portugal, and it left me thinking how this became the Twizzlers. Have you guys ever tried horse meat? My grandmother's stepfather loved horses. Once some friends made him eat horse meat by lying to him, telling him it was cow meat or something. After he ate it and admitting he liked it, their friends told him it was actually horse meat. He immediately puked all the food he ate. Edit. Some of your answers were really good. I just want to clarify that I have tried horse meat twice. In a restaurant and cooked by my mom. I can't say I disliked it, but it's not my thing. It's not suggestion because it's horse. It's the taste it leaves after swallowing. Other than that, it tastes like a tougher beef. Oh, and my step-grandfather had a huge farm with horses. He took care of horses since he was a little kid. Kinda understandable why he throwed out. No? And he kept talking to his friends after that, as far as I know. Considering that the China is due west of Japan, I'm going to say turtle jelly. It's exactly what it sounds like. Warheads? Did you guys really need to make those? My friend gave me one and it didn't end well. Then again, he told me to bite it because something is supposed to be in the center, but it was so sour that my mouth went numb for a bit. Boyfriend is Korean and he hates root beer and American cheese. He thinks peanut butter is kind of gross too. He will tolerate it, but wouldn't willingly eat on a cracker or something. Also cilantro. Many Koreans hate cilantro. Cilantro is pretty much Korean repellent. Nobody's going to mention fruit. The majority of Japanese I know don't eat the skin of fruit. My wife swore you couldn't eat a plum or pear's skin. And they usually peel the skin off apples. I've lived in Japan for 6 years. Japanese people hate blue-colored food, such as M&Ms, food-colored cake, etc. They all say it looks rotten and that it looks f***ing disgusting. My Japanese cousin didn't like mashed potatoes. I couldn't fathom why. My 85-year Japanese godmother hates Mexican food. She hates how everything is always touching. She thinks the beans and rice look like vomit. The meat is chewy. And again, is touching everything else. She refuses to eat it. Generally, the things that disgust people of one culture are fermented or decayed foods that they don't share with another. So, for instance, a lot of Asians find cheese revolting. Since dairy products are not a big thing in Asia, and cheese is produced through a microbial process. Blue cheese is one of the worst, and that's supported by the posts here. Things like bread, beer, cheese, stinky tofu, lutefisk, sauerkraut and all sorts of other aged, cultured, fermented, or otherwise decayed foods tend to revolt people who aren't accustomed to them. And for good reason. Decayed foods can make you sick. So if you're not accustomed to the flavor of one, your body can't really be sure that you won't get sick. You detect the signs of decay and your stomach will heave. Taiwanese here. Nothing beats applesauce in this post. My girlfriend says oatmeal. Something about it being warm and sweet. She also agrees with everyone saying frosting on cakes and whatnot. I have a Japanese friend who was weirded out by mint ice cream. She thought mint was only for things like toothpaste. Today I learned that the majority of Japanese people live in the UK. I'm Indian, living here for well over 2 decades. But when I first got here, I hated BBQs and barbecue sauce. They tasted and smelled funky to me. Of course now I live on it. Even eat my salmon, not BBQ'd, with barbecue sauce. My wife is Japanese and she hates most things I like. Top of that list is macaroni and cheese. Even when I bought the minion shaped box she didn't like it. I don't get it. Blue cheese is to JP people what natto is to Westerners. My wife is Japanese and says that the Japanese almost universally do not like licorice. My wife worked at a Florida plant for a Japanese pharmaceutical company. Licorice is difficult to find in Japan. One of the Japanese employees working in Florida intentionally brought back licorice for his family because he knew they would not like it and therefore not want him to bring back gifts in the future. His plan worked. Came here to see what Japanese people thought about American food. Instead it's just Americans and Europeans bragging about their sophisticated palates. Chinese here. Can someone tell me WTF, did someone think it's a good idea to put cream cheese in sushi? People mistaking Walmart products for food. America makes plenty of great food and for many their diet rarely if ever includes the shit mentioned in this thread. Cheese whiz, frosting, and other nasty shit is mostly avoided. Till I am not abnormal by believing American pastries are too sweet. I've lived in America my whole life and have been told by many people I'm crazy for holding this opinion. Today I realized I am not as crazy as people would have me believe. Close bracket. Story time. I live on Guam, U.S. territory, and we have numerous Japanese students from Japan for a student exchange. In Guam, we practically have every Western food you can find. On the day of the exchange, I gave one of my Japanese exchange students some Twinkies. Later, I caught one of them spitting it out, and I asked what's wrong with it. They said it was too sweet and the texture is nauseating. Well, shit. I f***ing love Twinkies. Stroke. It irritates me how most of these answers comprise of Europeans hating American foods. Japanese does not mean European and Western does not mean American. I'm a Western person living in Japan. I get asked to try lots of things like raw chicken and fermented soybeans aka natto. I eat it but don't necessarily like everything. They love seeing my reaction. Payback time is when I give them licorice from Europe. Just 5 minutes ago, another one of my housemates ate some and his facial expression was priceless. Confusion. Disgust. Astonishment that anyone could like this apparently medicine or chemical tasting thing. After my other housemate told him he had spat it out when he took up the challenge. All politeness was forgotten and he thankfully ran to the bin to spat it out. And few Americans, I mean black licorice. Apparently you call that red stuff licorice. 2. That Reese's ice cream cake. I couldn't even finish a small slice. It was so sweet. I had shiver down my spine. Gatorade. Powerade too. They're not disgusting. They just taste bad. Also, I don't like Nutella. Edit. I know that Gatorade and Powerade are dehydrated water. But I've seen my cousins and many other Americans drink them during or after a meal. I thought that was strange. And OP said Western food. I'm from the East so I said Nutella. Till Nutella is from Italy. Thanks. Capital D. I once got my Japanese exchange to eat Marmite on toast. He was sick in the sink. Anything cherry flavored. None of the guys I work with will eat cherry flavored candies of any sort. They say it tastes like medicine. They won't take cherry flavored cough drops either. Close bracket. All the international students, multiple Asian countries, can't wrap their head around tortellini. Circular cheese-filled noodles covered in cream sauce. It is revolting to them. Half Japanese here. I hate licorice. I don't know how people can sit with a bag of red beans and others and eat it. It just plain tastes disgusting. I have not met a single Japanese person who likes root beer. They all think it smells and tastes like Chinese herbal medicine. I agree. My Thai friends asked me why do we eat cheese? You take milk excreted from some animal and, as if that isn't bad enough, you let it spoil. Then you eat what's left? I was half ready to give it up too. I was born in the USA so I don't have a particular palate but my Japanese grandma finds milk abhorrent. Strangely though she's rather fond of kalpis which has dry milk in it. Japanese here. Goldfish crackers gross me out to no end. Seriously. Why are too salty? I can't believe that is a popular snack for little kids. Fruit roll-ups weird me out. 2. Like. Is it even trying to look like food? With that said, I do love some really shitty American foods like Kraft Easy Mac, Chef Boyardee, Mountain Dew, which exploded in my suitcase once when I tried to smuggle them back to Asia, and Hungry Man. A Japanese lecturer who used to teach me loved beans on toast. Anything on toast. Cooked breakfasts and Marmite. The rest of the department thought he was really weird. And his friends apparently think his idea of breakfast, he has adopted English breakfasts, is disgusting. My Japanese roommate does not like Arizona iced tea or other similar products. Because it is YI too sweet and she says it tastes nothing like tea. When I was in the UK, Kebabs. Maybe it was the place my mates and I frequented. But FCK, it was just sweaty meat in a blanket. In the States I guess it was the sweets. With the exception of donuts. I don't know why, but I really like them. An interesting one is Guinness. It looks like medicine. But it's great. I just get really full. Also, I've noticed it's different from a bottle and from a nozzle. Side note. Chinese. Salads. Why are they eating raw vegetables? Do they not know how to cook it? 9-year-old me. Fresh to the country from rural China.